Greetings and salutations, Internet. We'll be talking today about how the empire are sowing the seeds for its own destruction. And I think they're too stupid to realize it. They're putting people's backs against the wall. Just went to my fifth protest of the year so far. And keep in mind, I couldn't go to a bunch of stuff. I was busy. But today, there was two different protests, like back to back almost, just, hour and some change in between them. It had like the anti war on Venezuela protests, and then there was the anti ICE protests, which really they're interconnected. Um, that's why I'm saying a lot of the stuff is just the empire sowing the seeds of its own demise. So, like the ICE is supposed to be there to protect people. I mean, that is their stated purpose. It's supposed to be there to protect the border. But as many of you already know, they started shooting American citizens in the face in Minnesota, which is furthest away from the border as they could possibly get. I mean, you can say Canada's border, but they don't concern themselves with Canadians. There were videos of the ICE harassing Somali citizens, and you guys know my issue with ICE. I would have no problem giving ICE all the funding in the world, as long as we also equip them with the time machine, so they can go to 1491 to get the real rapists and the real criminals, prevent them from coming over here and bringing their shenanigans. But that's not what we're here to do. They're shooting multiple American citizens, killing them. One of them made a lot of news because it was a blonde-headed white woman. R.I.P. Nicole Good, I believe. But yeah, it's just the nation is in outrage. But the whole stated, like I said, stated purpose of ICE is to protect the borders, keep protect legal citizens of America. That's false. But like they were trying to get people to do self deportations. So then simultaneously they're cracking down on Venezuela, killing Venezuelan citizens so they can steal their oil and overthrow their democratically elected government. And then they're saying, "Oh, Maduro, he's a dictator." If we're going to take out any dictators, so let's start domestically, right? I'm sure Maduro has much greater support than any of our politicians. That's just a fact. Donald Trump, first time he got in office, like it was just patently obvious that he got fewer votes than Hillary Clinton, and she was horrible. Right. So this whole system, no one can talk about dictatorial powers because it's rigged beyond belief. And even if you get into office, going off of how the system is supposed to work, you can still get in with a minority of votes. So it's just like this whole no, America has no grounds to question any governance of any country on the planet, let alone like I said, they're going after Maduro, but Netanyahu, he still gets all of our funding, and he's wanted by the ICC, the criminal court that was established to prevent genocides. But he is a genocidal maniac. We're fine with supporting that kind of shit because all of our politicians, they are on the Epstein list. So this is the conundrum you have so many people locked into. So you can either be compliant, self-deport yourself. You can get deported by ICE. Just lay down your arms, get deported. Then they'll bomb you and rob your people, steal their land. They'll say that those are our resources. That's our land. continue to colonize, but you can't stay here. But you go back home. We'll bomb you there, or you could stay here, get shot in the face by ICE, even if you're a actual citizen, born and raised. You got all the paperwork. They'll still shoot you in the face and call you a domestic terrorist. So that's one of your options. Or you can die fighting members on the Epstein list, Epstein's clientele. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to sit around waiting for them to come shoot you in the face or bomb you in your homeland? I mean, a lot of people, they're not even being deported to where they came from. But it's like they could deport you to any random country and bomb you there, shoot you in the face here, or you could stand up and fight the pedophiles on the Epstein list. I know what you're saying. If you show violence towards the Epstein's clientele, the news is gonna berate you savagely. They're gonna talk shit about you, throw dirt up on your name. You will die in infamy. Well, even if you follow all their rules, they'll still throw dirt up on your name. Once the police shoot you in the face, they're going to go back to your seventh grade classmates, and they're going to find like who you picked your nose and wiped the booger on. Like, they're going to find something about you so they could just talk shit about you. So everything they do is justified. So they're going to create their narrative regardless of how they take you out. But what are you going to be doing when they come for you? And it's just like right now, they're ruthless. So it's like you gotta. I mean, you might fight. You might take down a couple of members of the Epstein's clientele list. You may prevent multiple people from being molested. I mean, if you got President Trump, Joe Biden, any number of like all of the real big violators on the list. I mean, you could prevent a lot of children from being molested. And then like accountability for people who never thought that they would face it. Because right now they got affluenza. They've been doing shady shit for so long they never thought that they would get in trouble. So this is what we need to contemplate. Because right now we're seeing nationwide protests, and it's just like I don't want people to just get too focused on the national. The president and like just a handful of people they want us to focus on. I mean, you got your Lindsey Grahams. He's a vile sack of garbage, and he's all for illegally detaining leaders around the world. So if he celebrates crooked politicians getting locked up, facing the death penalty, I mean, look at his support level. Maybe he's asking us to lock him up and send him off to another country to be tried for his war crimes. I mean, that's how I'm reading into it. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And plus, I don't even want to think about what his usual order at the Epstein Island is. A motherfucker's, it seems like he's not just a pedophile, like he's in a child necrophilia. He busts nuts on dead children. That's why he's obsessed with killing all those kids in Gaza. I mean, this motherfucker is sick and twisted. You could tell whenever you hear him talk. And it's just like talking to the people at these events. Everybody's ready for some kind of change. It's no way to. We got no mechanisms to like really hold the people accountable who are doing all the biggest crimes. Because right now we got criminals in charge of creating the laws, right? And they're not going to hold them. They're not going to lock themselves up. So, like I said, we should be looking to 1971 May Day when Nixon was surrounded by a bunch of activists. They had to put buses outside of the White House because they were in that White House terrified. Like, what if the people break through? That's where we need to have them, our politicians. Because if they're afraid of us, that's that looks more like democracy. If we're afraid of them, that's tyranny. And right now, a lot of people are afraid of them. But I'm just gonna tell you, we should not be. I mean, they're gonna overreact regardless. You know, like I said, they're gonna bomb you, steal your resources, shoot you in the face, regardless of how obedient you are. So now's the time to disobey. Just like, yeah, I'm not gonna follow your fucking orders. There's no reason for me to do that. You know, you're gonna die. You know, die on your knees instead of living on your feet. And a lot of the people, and I'm saying this, I got family who really needs to hear it, but you know they're not gonna listen to me. But uh, if you are considering joining the military, you're already in there. You're already just following these fucking orders. It was a captain who ended up like you know going against the grain. He didn't want to bomb people in Venezuela, and he was reprimanded. He lost his position. But that's what everybody should be saying no. If you got like higher ups coming at you, you're in a. It was a Donald Trump. He was giving a speech to a bunch of veterans and active military, and nobody cheered him. It was just dead silence. Him just talking. Nobody had anything positive to say about him. Him and Pete Hegseth. It was just dead silence while they were talking the entire time. And I guess that's a start. But if you find yourself in a room with a war criminal and you have a bunch of other people who feel the same way you do, they know we know that they need to be locked up, and we also know they celebrate tyrants being brought to justice. Then bring those tyrannical regimes to justice. And it's just like, how do we stop war with China? China, let's never be mad at China, the Chinese, just because the American government says you should be. The American government is your enemy. The enemy of my enemy should be my friend, you know, or ally until we get our agenda accomplished. Right? The China, they're making all of our shit. The empire that we work for, that we live under, they only got their power because of the Chinese weaponry. Right now, they want us to hate China. China has the 61, the bomb that has 60 atomic warheads, and also one hydrogen bomb. Right, that can end all of this country. Right, they got enough firepower to blow the world up once. We got enough to blow it up a million times, and we continue to invest more and more. But I really don't think they want to do that. They are much more sane people. But we need to bring our insane leadership to justice for them to know that they do not represent us. So, um, yeah, just if you come across a war criminal, take them to jail. I can't. I will do what I can to give you assistance in whatever way I can. Give you some nice little uh, uh, nice gifts. To the first person who brings one of our war criminals to jail, I'll give you a special package. Get you some radically threaded gear. Get you dripped up, fancy clothes. You know, we'll have fun with it. We can do a video. We can live stream together. Got some questions, brother. It's so good to see. It's good to be seen. Well, and it's inspirational to know that, like, you know, so many people just motivated to um, make some change happen. 2026 is already, I mean, it started off pretty fucking crazy. Um, well, the government, they've been crazy. Now they just start taking it up to another level. But, you know, the resistance is amassing at a level that I wouldn't have expected. It's like people who have never done any civil disobedience, they're all getting involved. And yeah, that does my heart good. Now it's just like instead of just protesting all that shit, we gotta lock up some Epstein list members. I mean, and I'm not going to tell anybody what justice looks like. As long as the people get brought to justice, they're no longer in a position to hurt anyone. Like my goal is to export them, send them off to the bad governments, the the ones that they vilify. But if there's like a team that like they just don't trust the ability to get them to the Chinese government or Iranian government safely, and they just they don't have the money for the tickets because they invested all their money in the guillotine. You know, I know that's that retro justice. I'm that's that old French stuff, and some people might be into that. It's a democratic process. If that's how what you guys arrive at, you know, who am I to stop you? Older memories we have from you and all the fun we had due to your talent. Well, it's a glorious thing. Netflix.net for the new rewinds and employee evaluations. This country has been a circus for a hot minute now. God, yeah, I mean, uh, they just swap out the clowns. That's why I say the powers that be got to get defied. They sell the same shit, they just switch the flies. They're on the news reading the scripted lies, then censor the truth so they don't get replied. That's why I got censored, motherfucker. Uh, they don't want anybody to counter their bullshit, but we can't let them believe their own nonsense. That's how we got some of the most delusional people in our government because they start to believe the shit on the news, even though they fund the news to lie to everybody. That's like it vexates me because uh, for I know there's like a whole campaign uh, for the online to astroturf these comments of people saying, "Oh, I'm from Venezuela. I'm glad that Trump is bombing my country." I've been seeing that, and I've been frustrated. But I saw the same shit back in 2019, and was like, the videos I was making covering the stuff in Venezuela. I would get people who never commented on my content. Period. Never said anything about it. Right? They'd be like, "Man, your videos used to be super duper funny, but now it's just like you're saying that you're with a dictator and all this shit." And I'm just like, motherfucker, you never commented on my shit ever. Like, you say it was super funny, you never said anything, not a LOL, not a first, nothing. Right? This motherfucker, you were completely worthless when you were finding the content that you love. But then as soon as I'm like, speak out against the evil shit my government is doing, then you have like something to say. Then I would get these same similar comments like, I'm from Venezuela, or someone saying you should listen to people from Venezuela. They don't like this dictator. They want Trump to bomb them. It's just like people want to get bombed. I do not like my government. If China started bombing my family, started bombing California to get to Trump, I wouldn't be about that. That's why I'm like, we should lock them up ourselves so we don't have to wait for them to bomb us, right? I want us to take care of shit domestically rather than bringing in someone else to do it for us, especially if their solution is bombing people. But yeah, I saw like a lot of the same tactics. People like, oh, I'm from Venezuela, bomb us more. We need more bombs hitting our country. But I just assume because every time I see people talking about the stuff in real life, um, they understand like our government is in the wrong. But I was uh I was at an event today, and I had my my Maduro backpack, and she came up to me. She was black too, which was crazy. She was like, "Talk to me about Maduro. Uh, he's a dictator. Uh, um, so why would you support him? Why do you got that thing on?" I'm like, dictator. Okay, if we're gonna deal with any dictator, if we're gonna be overthrowing any dictator, let's start domestically, right? Whatever you got to say about Maduro, we could say 100 times worse about anybody who ever led this country. We've never had a good president. We've never had a president who got in with a majority vote, right? Most people just don't vote. They don't believe in anything. Only uh, Republican I ever voted for was Barack Obama in 2008. Right after that, I realized, oh, he just like everybody else. It's a big scam, right? And I was tricked. I thought he was going to give us Medicare for all. That's because that's what he was talking about. Then he just did the old switcheroo, gave us John McCain's health plan or Mitt Romney's health care. Um, it's like, yeah, it was just a big giveaway for a bunch of corporations, you know. You look at what's going on in Venezuela, they have publicly owned Citgo, which did more to help Americans than our own government. They had a program that helped low income people get gas to heat their homes during the winter. Right, our government doesn't do that. Um, all of the profits that they got from that company, it goes to the Venezuelan people. Right, and then Trump says, "Oh, we're going to have American energy companies step in and take over." This, and he was saying that's going to somehow benefit the Venezuelan people. It's like, yeah, no, that's just a load of malarkey, and it's up to us to never believe it, never parrot whatever the fuck they're saying. Whatever the government is saying about another government being bad, be like, you have no room to talk. You don't need to know anything about that other government to be like, okay, the American government has no room to talk. Shut up when talking about other people, right? You can do the homework and realize how specifically they're lying about certain shit, but just the ground, the base level is just like, shut the fuck up. You have no room to talk about any government. Look at all of our tin houses. Like, you don't have to know that Venezuela has this public housing program, and they have not just fewer people in raw numbers on the streets, just per capita. Like their homelessness issue is non-existent, right? I mean, it might be now because they've been bombing people and they've been stealing their shit. So some people are probably going to be displaced, but without our meddling, they were in a much better situation than anybody out here, and that's why we have to step in, because we can't have the threat of a good example, because these countries will make us look like shit. Because they actually invest in their people, and they don't have like a bunch of corporations that run everything, and that's why we want to overthrow them. Was it the Machada, the chick who got the Nobel Peace Prize, garbage individual? She was talking about having American businesses step in and take the place of their public industry that actually benefited the people. We're just going to have a bunch of corporations that extract their wealth and put it in the same oligarchs who run our shit. And that's why I'm like, we should be just like overthrow all of these motherfuckers, right? Not just the politicians. The politicians are more so the puppets of the people who really, really run shit. Um, so I mean, I'm all for bringing them to justice too, but really, we got a handful of billionaires, and you can just tell if someone needs to go to jail if they have $1 billion and they're still getting government subsidies, which is every billionaire, because you can't make $1 billion without an extreme amount of criminality. These are the biggest criminals in the world. I have always been cynical about politics since the 9/11 era, and I wasn't even 18 at the time. Well, yeah, I was cynical about all of the shit with 9/11. It was the craziest shit to me. How 9/11 led to the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then I saw like just people, it's kind of like COVID. Like it preyed on people to have a certain kind of ideology, very hateful, right? So it's like I just started hearing like all kinds of just racist shit against brown people. They said Muslims, but no one stopped and be like, "Oh, are you Muslim? Or are you Sikh? Or are you a Christian? Or what?" They just saw browns, and then uh, um, they just started going off saying random crazy shit. And I was just like, after COVID, people doing the same thing to Asian people. I was like, this is just is fucking is fucking gross and shit, and you just really get a glimpse into the psyche of certain people because you have any one crime done by a minority, and it could be just one person, it could be a handful of people, but it's like everybody who looks like that person or those people is a criminal now. Everybody. And then like like there's no individuals. It's just like that. Like you're a Muslim, you're you're all bad. You're brown, you're all bad. It's just but then you can have like all kinds of white cannibals. You can have white war criminals raping prisoners and fucking children, busting nuts on child corpses. And it's just like, nope, we're all individuals. We're not like, we don't all believe the same shit. Um, but that is only a benefit of one particular kind of person. Everybody else is like, uh, um, the Chinese people, they eat bats. To say anything else is racist. If you imply that our government had labs in China that we were funding gain of function research, that's racist. The non-racist response is to say Chinese people eat bats, and that's where our diseases come from. Chinese having disgusting diets, and certain people they just never stop and question the absurd shit they actually believe. But the empire preys on that. That's why it's just like you can't give in to these dumbass talking points, which unfortunately some people still do. Unfortunately, people are too lazy to study history and realize it likes to repeat itself. Yeah. Well, um, I think the COVID was like it was like homework for a lot of people because they got shut down. That radicalized a good amount of people. But then some people they were just super compliant. But this is the crazy shit for me. The most radical people who will probably end up shooting somebody if they try to give them a booster or a new vaccine. That are the most radical people are the ones who already got vaccinated and they believe the bullshit from 2020 hook, line, and sinker. Then they got injured, and then they just were like, "This is all bullshit." Start doing their homework. Those are the people who I talked to who would like they got their guns, they're ready to shoot somebody. As soon as someone else mentions a fucking booster, they're probably gonna blow someone's head off. Right? I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I'm glad that they started questioning many of them. However, I don't know nobody in my family who's like up to date on their boosters. Uh, nobody is like continuing to believe the bullshit. But at the same time, I haven't gotten any apologies for like some of the fucked up shit that people said and did during the COVID. That's why I encourage anybody, all you motherfuckers out there who's like, you're gonna shoot Fauci if he asks you to get another booster. Go apologize to the family that you said fucked up shit to. Because maybe, I would assume it's not just my family, but like if you recognize, like that you were lied to, just think about the person who was trying to wake you up that you were sending memes to. Because I was getting some fucked up shit. It was like people like, oh, so this person died from not getting a vaccine. LOL, had it coming. Should have listened to the science. All that kind of bullshit. And it's just like all the fucked up shit that I got. It was made by someone else, and my family saw it and they shared it. They did all this crazy shit. And there was just no apologies after that. There was no memes for apologizing to your unvaccinated brethren who, and this is the crazy thing. People are just like, oh, you want to be right. You just want to be right. No, I don't, like, uh, people thought like me questioning the vaccine, uh, uh, just meant that I wanted to be right about certain things, or I wanted them to be wrong and get hurt. Like, no, I'm saying this because I don't want you to get hurt. And then you're sharing shit that implies you think the shit is funny. Someone who's not vaccinated gets injured, and no apologies. So if you did anything close to that, evaluate it. Think about who deserves an apology, and maybe try to bridge that gap, or at least make as many apology memes as you sent out. Ones hoping that people died for not uh, making the same decision you made that you end up regretting. Call me a nut, but I've been of the belief that America is just one big weird experiment, fam. It is definitely an experiment. It's an experiment in the same vein as Israel. It's a colonial experiment. The boiled frog come over here. They get their dip their toe in Virginia. Just like we just this is all we want. This little one area. Then we expand. Now Israel, they have the Israel project. It's just like we just want this little slice of land. We just want a little Israel. And the 1947 borders look completely different from the borders today, and it's just like they continue to steal more and more shit. Then they ended up stealing Syria. And what they're really doing, all of these lands that they're taking, they all have their history that is way, way older than anything in Europe. Europe is just like white people are the newest mutation of humanity, right? We've had humans on this continent first Europeans were black Africans. First anything was black Africans. They are if you know Mendel's law. They call it Mendel's law because Mendel was the first white person to understand it, but other civilizations understood it for much longer than white people have been existing. But in Mendel's law, the dominant can carry the recessive, but the recessive can't carry the dominant. Meaning, uh, certain traits are dominant: dark eyes, dark features, dark skin, dark hair. A person with all dark features, they can carry recessive, lighter features. That's why you have albinos. You have all blue eyes, green eyes, and dark people. But two white people can only make a white person, right? But two black people can make a black person. They can make a white person. The possibilities are limitless. Um, but yeah, all of the areas um, that are being contested. You look at Sudan. That's UAE, funded by the West, right? They're going after the Sudanese. They were once considered Nubian, but then they merged with what is now considered Egypt. I always call that entire area, just Kemet, land of the blacks, black soil, because it's had multiple names throughout the millennia. But that was the first one because all of the major temples that in what became known as Egypt when white people discovered it. It was throughout history. It had different names. Hyksos. It was discovered by or rediscovered by the Arabs, first Caucasians, around the 13th dynasty, right? And they already had the major temples already made. All the stuff that the area is known for. It was already knocked out of the park. Um, that's why all of the symbols, like the people talk about, I had issue with the Ankh, this little placard, because they talk about ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic character. There's no such thing as ancient Egypt. When we get into the ancient times, they had a different name. Like we talking Hyksos, we talking Kemet, we talking. It was like I said. Oh boy. Okay, I might have to get off soon. But yeah, homework. I'm going to be covering some of the stuff on employee evaluations, but this is about to kick me off. Uh, Israel just one big piece of the equation. Well, Israel is it's a Israel is our brother. We got the same father, same colonial daddy, England, Britain, depending on what how you want to chop it up. But yeah, but if you're in an English speaking um, country, um, and that includes Israel, um, uh, yeah, then you got the same colonial daddy. Australia, Canada. That's why it's just like we talk about some. The rest of the free world is we can all agree on this. They're usually talking about the same fucking settler colonial states, and we all can agree on the same thing. We think we have some revolution where we overthrew the British, but we went from British rule to being ruled by the richest people in the country. That would be like if we were like, you know what, we're going to do something. We're tired of this corrupt government. We should be run by Bill Gates and Jeffrey Bezos and Elon Musk. Let's let them decide, what our governance policies are going to be. It's just like you move from one fucked up rule where it's just like people who are out of touch, don't give a shit about the general population. You move from them to people who have the exact same traits. They're just concerned, obsessed with money. Races were meant to mix. That's why people of mixed races are less prone to suffering from genetic defects. Well, races, all we are, we're human race, right? You understood. You understand how we got to where we are. Like you're you adapted. People can understand evolution. Like people see a chicken, be like, those things used to be dinosaurs. The crow, they used to be velociraptors. Like they can see, like they can understand like a dinosaur becoming a little bird, right? But they can't imagine like a person from Africa moving to a colder climate and becoming lighter skin. When you think of the straight hair. Like I said, Arabs, they were the first Caucasians. All right. They moved the Caucasus Mountains. When people got in there, their hair got scared straight. that's where the straight hair. That's why it makes no sense why people with lice would uh, why lice would prefer people with straight hair. You would think the kinky hair would be easier for them to build nests in and keep shit from falling out. But they co-evolved with the people with straight hair while they were in the caves, right? Um, white people, they got to the same mountains that the Arabs went into during the last ice age. They were devoid of all sun. It was freezing temperatures. That's why they got such lighter features. Um, you're in an extremely hot environment. You become darker. You become taller. Uh, uh, longer features. You're in a cold environment. You're stubbier. You're shorter. Because the circulation. You need to be closer so you can like stay warmer. It's like these are ways we come to adapt to our environment. All right, and yeah, and then we start getting into shit like what was it, prima nocta? Because the real issue with certain European civilizations, or and let's not call them civilizations, certain European societies, like England, they were run by crazy people. That's why they have like all these traits of incest. Because they wouldn't have prima nocta where the king would go in and fuck new brides, so like people would be secretly related without even knowing it. Um, and yeah, then like you got the Game of Thrones shit. Motherfuckers would rather they'd be like fucking their sisters and cousins and moms to maintain power. It's just yeah, and then these motherfuckers think they're better than the people who they're colonizing, even though they create nothing of value. Uh, all they did was, they think they have birthright to run in everything, and they don't realize the uh, mental ineptitude that goes into that way of thinking. Ain't Nate what it do? Well, yeah, it's been lovely showing up, but yeah, I'm about to get cut off, so might as well leave before uh, it takes me off without knowing where this is going to end. So don't forget to be good to each other. Go to nateflix.net for the new employee evaluations, new rewinds, and catch you guys later. Toodles.